All right, welcome to this Architectural Explainer. As your cloud solution architect, I'm going to be guiding you through a true production-grade blueprint for securing your Microsoft Teams infrastructure. We are going way beyond the surface-level features today. We're going to lift the hood and look directly at the underlying mechanics of Microsoft 365. Our main focus? Security governance, strict zero-trust principles, and exactly how you translate those massive headache-inducing regulatory requirements into granular, fully automated technical controls. Let's dive in.
Okay, quick look at our roadmap for today. We'll start with the governance challenge. Peek behind the Teams interface, break down the unified compliance framework, map out our controls, integrate our cloud security, and then bring it all together in an executive wrap-up.
So, Part 1. The Teams Governance Challenge.
Our absolute first order of business here is assessing structural integrity. You know, we've all seen it happen. Organizations deploy teams rapidly without a concrete strategy, and honestly, the foundation just fractures. Kiefer Consulting actually hit the nail on the head here. Rolling out teams without a plan results directly in major governance issues and what we call team sprawl. The whole idea of end users just spinning up collaborative workspaces without any IT oversight, well, it causes immense anxiety for IT leadership, and for good reason. Because from a pure security standpoint, an unmapped surface area is literally an undefendable one. If you don't know it exists, you can't secure it.
Moving on to Part 2. Let's take a look behind the interface at the actual backend architecture.
Now, this is where we really have to redefine Teams. It's not just a simple chat room, it is a massively complex backend infrastructure connector. When a user clicks Create Team, they probably think they're just making a group chat, but actually, they are silently triggering a massive backend provisioning script. Boom! They just spun up an Office 365 group, a dedicated SharePoint document library, a shared Exchange mailbox, a planner plan, a OneNote notebook, and even a Power BI workspace. Without strict governance policies in place, every single user in your tenant is effectively acting as an unchecked infrastructure administrator. And that is a compliance nightmare just waiting to happen.
So, how do we govern this? Well, you absolutely must explicitly designate a Teams administrator. And to be clear, this is not just a help desk role tasked with resetting passwords. This person acts as the general manager of your entire collaboration space. They need a deep, fundamental understanding of information architecture. This administrator lives in the Teams Admin Center. They configure creation policies, establish strict naming conventions to kill duplication before it starts, and, perhaps most importantly, they set expiration policies. That way, those abandoned, inactive teams that haven't been touched in 6 months are automatically archived and eventually purged from the system entirely.
Okay, Part 3. The Unified Compliance Framework.
To actually build a secure solution, we have to fundamentally shift our mindset from reactive, panicked auditing to a proactive, unified standard. Think about the exhausting past of overlapping SOX or PCI audits. It was incredibly disconnected, right? Well, historically, even Microsoft's own internal cloud infrastructure team faced massive audit fatigue, just answering the exact same security questions over and over for different auditors. Their solution to this was brilliant. A unified compliance framework. It's a singular, standardized baseline that satisfies over 200 global services at once. And honestly, you need this exact same architectural mindset for your own tenant.
Let's look at Part 4. Mapping these controls to actual security standards. This is where the magic happens. This is exactly how we map those massive, intimidating regulatory expectations down to granular, technical controls you can actually configure. By organizing overlapping audit requirements into unified domains, we systematically lock down the infrastructure without duplicating our work. For instance, whether an auditor asks you about ISO 27001 or FedRAMP, the network access subdomain dictates the exact same objective: prevent unauthorized access. So you implement this once, say, by enforcing multi-factor authentication and explicitly blocking all legacy authentication via Microsoft Entra ID, and boom, you just satisfied multiple, extremely complex compliance frameworks simultaneously. It's incredibly efficient.
But here is the crucial takeaway. Compliance is never, ever a one-time event. You don't just check a box and go home. It's a continuous plan, do, check, act cycle. In a real production tenant, you simply cannot set a policy and walk away.
You need to automate your compliance data collection. We're talking about running PowerShell scripts that query the Microsoft Graph API and deploying Azure Policy to continuously audit your M365 resources against those control objectives we just talked about. If a SharePoint site connected to a team suddenly has its settings changed to allow anonymous guest sharing, Azure Policy instantly flags it. That is how you break the cycle of configuration drift.
All right, Part 5, Defender and Cloud Security Integration.
With our foundational framework established, we transition into active deployment. We need to operationalize this governance. Now, these are your strict IT deployment phases. Step 1. Route your Microsoft 365 traffic through Defender for Cloud Apps, essentially using it as a reverse proxy. Step 2. Configure conditional access app control right inside Microsoft Entra ID. This allows you to literally block downloads of sensitive files on unmanaged devices in real time. Step 3. Hook those alerts up to Power Automate to automatically suspend any compromised user accounts. And finally, Step 4. Stream all of those diagnostic logs directly into Azure Sentinel, your central CIEM, for advanced threat hunting. Oh, and a quick architectural rule of thumb here, always have a fallback. You absolutely must configure a break glass exclusion group in Entra ID. This allows your emergency administrators to bypass these strict policies natively, just in case legitimate users or critical service accounts are accidentally locked out. You do not want to lock yourself out of your own tenant.
Finally, Part 6, the Executive Value Wrap-Up.
As an architect, you eventually have to tie all these incredibly deep technical implementations directly back to stakeholder priorities. Why are we doing all this? We're doing it for the business. By fully deploying this unified framework, your organization completely eliminates audit fatigue. You standardize your operations, and you efficiently maintain rigorous, verified authorizations like FedRAMP and ISO certifications. When you finally sit down with your Chief Information Security Officer, you aren't just handing them a list of blocked features. You are presenting a fully validated, continuously auditable system that protects classified intellectual property and dramatically accelerates compliance. That is massive business value.
So I'm going to leave you with a final architectural challenge to evaluate within your own production tenant today. Take a really hard look at your current environment. Are you actually utilizing Azure Policy and PowerShell to continuously validate your controls? Have you systematically mapped your external compliance requirements to your internal conditional access rules? If the answer is no, well, it's time to put this blueprint to work. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive explainer.